I heard someone define activism as just creating experiences with meaning. And activism is a kind of spiritual practice in that sense, which was very eye-opening for me. Right. And it also makes me think of this whole you're Malay, you're Muslim, you are academic, you're all rolled in one. Right. And I'm wondering what does that definition trigger for you?
I use a lower level definition for it, right? Like you champion a particular cause, right? And if you champion a particular cause, firstly, you must feel attached to it. Second, in some way, right? And secondly, you would be transformed by the championing of that cause. Right?
Yes.
You'll be transformed spiritually, right?
Yeah. And I bring that up because that also seems to be a description for academia, or at least what I hope.
Right.
Because academia, I'm assuming, is trying to untangle the meaning of things.
Right.
Right. From this very intellectual standpoint. Right. Yeah. So it makes me wonder, really, can an academic not be an activist?
Interesting.
And can an activist not be an
Right. Yeah. I think in that, using that definition, probably not. Probably
Crazy,
not.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the social sciences, probably not. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about why did you start Teh Tarik with Walid? What was that about?
I felt that I could bring something to the table in terms of knowing political issues, and if you could, so that's the first thing. And secondly, I do feel that a lot of times politicians are not put on the spot enough. And sometimes it's not even because of them, right? It's just the format of, let's say you do 5 minutes of interviews, right?
Yeah.
What can you really say about complex issues in 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
So, and I feel like even in a press conference, if you do it 1 hour, right? And then 1 hour you're asked by 20 people, right? And the person cannot follow up on the questioning. So in a 1 hour long interview with me, then I can follow up on the question and I can maybe push them in a particular direction, which I really think the long form interviews, right, is better for society than the cable news kind of interviews.
I totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
Because the cable news it doesn't allow people to give out the nuances, right? To express the nuances, but also the interviewer always want to box the person, right? Doesn't give the person an opportunity to really explicate their ideas. So the drawback is the long form interviews are not going to get the kind of views that the short interviews do. But I understand that. So I see my role as a very niche role, and I think there is space for this, and I would like to fill this space. And it's also about pushing the political discourse, because the level of political discourse here is not that high. I mean, you know this better than anyone, right? And a lot of times people still ask me, I still get questions like this. Do you think the minimum wage discussion has gotten political? Then I said, it's always been political. It is it's supposed to be political. Why are you saying?
Okay. And actually at this point, I'm going to slow you down, right? Because I don't think people understand what is politics political. So you define it for us right now, Walid. Like give us an education.
So when people talk about politics, right? People always mean electoral politics, but politics is more than that, right?
Yes.
Politics is about the distribution of power, right? That's it, right? And it's about the contestation for power. And it's not just the seats. It's not just the electoral seats. That's the most out there manifestation, right? Of power and politics. And I accept that. That is an important manifestation. But also in terms of cultural power, in terms of social power, in terms of discourses, all of these are part of politics, right? The increase in prices of bread is a political thing, right? When your petrol prices increase, that is a result of politics. There are very, very few things that are not political, right? The definition of marriage, right? Marriage is not my marriage, but the definition of marriage is a political definition. Everything is political. So I think people do not understand that. So people always, don't make this political. But it's supposed to be political, right? So I always get a bit irritated when people say, don't politicize this. Well, am I supposed to economize this issue? This is a political issue.
I think sometimes that's a preference
exactly.
in our culture.
So I think that's because of that, the this political culture, I think, is not as developed as it should
Right.
be. So I thought, okay, maybe I can. This is a small contribution to that. And why Instagram specifically? Because I felt that there was a gap in the market where Facebook is for older people. It's for you and I.
Thanks, Walid. But I see that. I see
I
that
spend
point.
more time on Facebook, right? But my students, I think most of them do not use Facebook at all, right? So I remember my first year, I was asking my students, why don't I see any of you on Facebook? Then
And then they laugh.
no, then one of them said, oh, because our parents are on Facebook. I said, oh my God, am I there? So, and you get that, what they're saying, right? So
Yes.
Instagram and increasingly, TikTok is becoming their modes of choice. So I think there was a gap there and we could do it. And you mentioned this when that time we didn't know each other and you were sharing my interview with Dr. Yaakob.
Yep.
And I remember you said you love the informality of it. And I think that's it. The informality of the IGTV discussions, it can take us to places where TV interviews cannot, press conferences cannot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it because there's no editing on the Insta
Right.
TV. Like everything. And you kind of get a sense of the person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So besides Instagram, did you actually try TikTok?
So I lost a bet with my students, so I had to do a TikTok. But we did. That's a dark moment in my life. I know. I'm kidding.
But do you think we need to bring the political discussion there?
I think there's no choice.
Okay.
I think eventually someone has to do it. I hope it's not me.
Someone needs to go there.
I'm not even on Twitter because I'm already spending so much time on social media. I do understand. The Twitter discourse in Singapore is pretty advanced. It's not bad. The political discourse. It's very left. It's skewed in a very anti-establishment way. That's the nature of the platform, I think. But I think the discourse is okay. It's not bad. But I'm not on it because I don't think I have the stamina for it. Yeah, I tend to get sucked into discussions more than I should as well.